That's it done. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Are you here to have a good time, to relax, to eat, drink, dance, enjoy?
Yes.
See? Yes? Perché veniste voi stasera? Oh! Veniste voi mangiati? Veniste voi ballati? Non sapete perché veniste voi? Dovete pensare, eh? Allora se veniste voi ballate, allora balliamo! Historical accounts inform us that southern Italy serves as the birthplace of tarantella. The origin is originally connected with a disease or form of hysteria, obscurely associated with the bite of the tarantula. Usually women were affected by this affliction, possibly because of their work in the fields of Calabria. Calabria, as most of you know, is the agricultural hub of Italy, or it was back then. It is believed that once you were bitten by the venom, it caused one to fall into a trance, only curable through a frenzy of dance and music. This non-stop, fast-paced dance would help the victim sweat the poison out. Classical Calabrian tarantella, derived from the ancient Greek. Oh, God help me. Tonight, and also guests who've donated tonight for us. We've got Mr. John Pasuto, Shadow Attorney General. We've got Dr. Vince Daniele, il Consolatore Regione Calabria, the liaison between the clubs of the Federazione and the Regione of Calabria. We've got Mr. Mario Sordino, Consular Office of Italy in Melbourne. And he's representing the Consular General, Mr. Pierluigi Trombetta. So thank you. Our other guests includes Stefano Costabile, I'm sorry about that, and I'm wearing his lovely creation right now. He's a millinery artist joining us directly from Calabria with his amazing new collection of audacious and magnificent sculptures. Thank you, Giovanni, for that wording. I plagiarised that completely from you. You will see a few on display tonight, and I pinched one. So it just happened to suit my shirt really well. It wasn't foreplanned, but it does suit nicely. I might accidentally on purpose leave with it. And the shirt. We also have Maria Tipano, author of From the Mountains of the Shepherd, an Italian village in Australia. She also has copies of her book here tonight, for which she's donating a portion to the association, as is Stefano. Now, we also have here tonight, what we have here tonight from Fortunato Lucky Rocca. He's a gold and silversmith. He handcrafted the Melbourne Cup, and you'll see that on display from 34 years ago. I'd like to introduce now Mario. We're on first name basis, Mario. No, this is Sordino. I'd like to introduce Mario to say a few words. If you could please join me in welcoming Mario.
Signor Presidente, membri del direttivo, onorevole John Presutto, signore e signori, innanzitutto vogliate gradire i saluti ed auguri dal nostro console generale Pierluigi Trombetta, che per diversi impegni istituzionali non è potuto essere qui stasera. E con i migliori auspici che vediamo la nascita di un'associazione culturale dedicata alla nobilissima terra di Calabria. Calabria, terra antichissima, pregna di storia e di tradizioni, dalla Magna Grecia al Brutium, come venne chiamata dagli antichi romani. Cosa si può dire di una terra millenaria come questa? Con lo spazio per noi a disposizione questa sera non possiamo certo esaurire in poche parole un percorso così lungo e ricco. Quali e quanti sono stati i calabresi eminenti e gli eroi di guerra? Sono talmente tanti che non possiamo pensare neanche di enumerarli. Voglio menzionare solo due dati. Il monaco Far Bernardo da Seminara, al secolo Leonzio Pilato, vissuto nel 1300, fu grande maestro di lettere greche e latine di Petrarca e Boccaccio. La brigata Catanzaro fu una grande unità di fanteria del Regio Esercito Italiano, che i giovani imparano e riflettano, perché solo attraverso la conoscenza sia storica che culturale di un paese si può capire ed apprezzare il presente. Buonasera a tutti.
Dr. Vince Daniele to say a few words. Please join me in welcoming Vince.
It took me by surprise. I didn't know if I had to do a speech in Italian, Calabrese, or English. Singing? Yeah, you're not born English? Okay. Good idea. I guess everybody can understand it. But mind you, we're Italians and we are Calabrese. This new and unique body hopes to bring a fresh new approach to the Calabrian community with a much broader scope. In the last 50 years, I have worked very hard in Australia to maintain the culture and the traditions of Calabrian through the numerous clubs and associations. Those groups have contributed so much to the community. This month, I'm proud to announce 25 youth from Australia will meet with other youth from a country around the world for a month of Calabria as the coastal region to study Italian culture and heritage as those universities. There will be, beginning at the end of this month, the region will be contributing towards the expense abroad, including 50% of the fare, air travel. It's a wonderful opportunity for our young ones. Those are the types of program along with many of the initiatives. And for the Calabrese Cultural Association, we have to promote and build on with which I will be very excited to work with them. To conclude, I will be attending the annual international conference for overseas Verità in Calabria.
Grazie. Allora, what's the next big event that we're planning? Apart from entree. And it's time to open up a bottle of wine on the table. The next big event that the association's planning will be a planning event. What does that mean? What we'd like to do is that we'd like to get all the members to come along to that. There's no date set, but Mr. Secretary Domenico Conidi will send that to all of you. That's basically to establish a blueprint of what we want to do for the next 5 years. So I'm letting you know that now because what we're saying is that your contribution is obviously important in shaping that organisation, and that's what it's all about. So in establishing that blueprint, we'd like your input and your thoughts in terms of what we're doing and what we can do moving forward. We certainly know what we'd like to do, but an association and a membership is what it is a collaboration.
It is my pleasure. It is my pleasure to admit that I am a board member of this newly founded association.
Bravo.
Now, those of you who do know me know that I like to tell the occasional joke. However, the secretary of our association said, "Tony, please, you can't tell any jokes. This is a serious event." So we reached a compromise. I said, "How about if I submit my jokes to you? And you can then decide whether it's suitable or not." So I did. Unfortunately, that's what I got back. The sense that every one of my jokes. And Giuseppe had met this gorgeous girl. And he said to himself, "Giuseppe, if you bring this girl home, you're going to be in big trouble." So he thought about it, and he thought, you know what I'll do? I'll bring 3 girls home. And I'll ask my mother to choose. What could go wrong? And that's exactly what he did. On the Sunday, the following week, he brings home 3 girls, and one of them was the one that he really wanted to marry. And these girls were wonderful. They helped the mother cook and clean and do the dishes and sweep up. And then they all left. And Giuseppe said to his mother, "Mum, Carlotta, which one of those girls would you like me to marry?" And Mum says, "Giuseppe, the blonde one." And he says to her, "Mum, how did you know that was the one I wanted to marry?" "Because I don't like her." It is my privilege to introduce someone to you this evening who single-handedly has been the driving force of getting this association to the point where it is this evening. He spoke to a few of us and outlined his vision, and I must say that Giuseppe, I must say that we as the silent majority have been complicit in allowing our name, our history and our heritage to be hijacked by persons unworthy. And that's one of the reasons that I became involved. Vincent Morfuni has been the driving force and the guiding light to get this association to where it is. He is our inaugural chairman, president, vice president. No, sorry, Vince. He has been the one that has really gotten us to where we are. And it's my very, very great pleasure to introduce Vincent, who has been a very, very long-standing friend and also the godfather of my son. And it is with the greatest of pleasure I introduce you to Vincent Morfuni.
Thanks very much, Tony.
Put the clock on him.
The clock's, it's always on me. But distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official launch of the Calabrese Cultural Association. And I must say how pleased I am to see the number of people that have taken the time to attend tonight's launch. And it's not true that I'm the guiding force of anything of that nature. In fact, it's been a very collaborative effort. I had been thinking about the establishment of such an organisation because I thought that there was a need for it, and I spoke to a number of people, and eventually I asked Vince Mirabelli to organise the venue here, and we had a meeting. And the most pleasant aspect of that meeting is that I think I spoke for about 3 minutes, and then it wasn't a matter of should we establish an association, but what are we going to do and when. And unfortunately, it's had a very long gestation, in fact almost as long as an elephant, because we met initially, we discussed it in March, we had a meeting in May of last year, and finally in July of this year we registered it as a company limited by guarantee. But hopefully, what that means is that it will have as long a life as an elephant, and it'll still be here in about another 300 years. Now, in terms of what are we, I think I'm sure that those that haven't been involved in the formation may want to know. Well, as I said, we're a voluntary association registered under ACCA as a company limited by guarantee. That means that in the event of the association becoming insolvent, the extent of the member's liability is only $50. It also means that we can accommodate members from all over Australia, because being registered under ACCA means you're a national body. And finally, which I think is crucial, is to advocate on behalf of the Calabrese community in Australia on any issue affecting the community.
This man has stood up on a number of occasions, he's addressed us before, and he makes absolutely no secret. In fact, I think I would be saying more so that he is proud of his Calabrian heritage, and he's here this evening to share his journey and his vision for us as a group, us as an association, and us as a Calabrian heritage, whatever you want to call it, listed group. And I have great pleasure introducing the Honourable John Pizzuto.
Thank you so much, Tony. Vincent Morfuni, to your fantastic board, all of your board members here tonight, to our special guests who were mentioned before, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is an honour to be here tonight. I know I've come before and spoken to some of you at different forums, but I am truly honoured. I stand here not only as the member for Hawthorn in the Victorian Parliament, I stand here not only as the Shadow Attorney General, more importantly, I stand here tonight as the proud son of two Catanzaro-born parents. I am proudly and loudly of Calabrese stock. It's a great honour. I just want to say to you, Vincent, and to your team, congratulations on what you've done. You've all heard the saying, I'm sure, that you give a busy person a job if you want it done, and done well. Well, we all know Vince has a very busy legal practice as a distinguished jurist and member of the Victorian Bar. And to take on this enormous but vital responsibility and cause is something we all admire, Vincent. And I think all of us here tonight would share that view of mine, that it's so important what you're doing, because when you think of Calabrese migration in particular, but not just Calabrese, Sicilianos and others, we think of what I would call the icons in Australian history. And there are many. But I defy any of you to tell me that pictures from ports in Italy of crying mothers with children crying, watching their fathers get on a boat to leave for a country in which he cannot speak a word. That post-war migration in particular, not limited to it completely, but in particular because so many people of Calabrese backgrounds came out, and related backgrounds came out in that post-war period. And those images, not just of that, but I love photos of Italian Australians, new Italian Australians, standing in fruit shops, having a break, eating a piece of cheese with a bit of panini. That for me is iconic. That is Australia. It's cool now. How many Italians came to Australia? In Calabrese, we're talking Calabrese tonight, I should keep it to that. Got off their boats at Port Melbourne with a bit of clothing in their packs and a little cafetiera, which none of the local natives understood what was for. Now everybody's a coffee addict. This is part of our fabled history. And so this association is vital for that, because, as Vincent said, we have a number of great organisations already that bring people together. But this is something that introduces a new level of aspiration, to explore culture, to look at how we can forge greater and closer links between the Australian community and Calabria and other Calabrian communities around the world. I'm excited by this, and I do adopt a realistic appreciation that what I would call the romantic version I've given you tonight is not always how others see it. And when Vincent talked about people not being identified as Calabrese when they are successful, it really dawned on me. I think Vincent's right. Tells us we've got work to do, but it's worth the effort. And if we think it's hard, let's remember everything that our immediate and distant forebears had to endure to get us to where we sit tonight. Thank you so much.